Hi creepy friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. As you can tell by the title, I'm giving you some more horror recommendations for certain types of readers. We're covering crime. I have a stack of books that have crime elements that I think would be a great introduction to horror as a crime reader. So if you typically read crime thrillers, then I believe these recommendations are going to be the books for you. So do stick around if you're interested. And let's get into the recs. First recommendation I have for you is a debut book that came out in late 2025. And that is The Forest of Missing Girls. This is a thriller story with horror elements. I think it's a good introduction for crime readers because it does have a sprinkle of horror. It's got your crime element in there, but also being a thrilling read. It's not perfect, don't get me wrong, but it is a debut book, so take it as you will. But this is basically following a family who live on the edge of a forest, and if you go into the forest, oftentimes girls go missing. And that did happen. The main character's sister, her friend, goes missing. So obviously as she goes missing, a search starts happening. They search the forest, the area. So our main character and her sister start getting themselves involved because they know the person personally. They want to help solve it and to find this friend. But they start to uncover certain things within the forest that relate to the family. For beginner readers, it would be a little bit strange, but perfect entry for just beginning to dabble into horror. My next recommendation is going to be The Pale House Devil by Richard Cadre. This is following two PIs, one undead, one alive. They go to different houses, different people, because they have problems and they try to solve it. It's supernatural, but it does have your investigative element, which is why I think it would be perfect for some crime readers who are wanting to get into horror. This is a super short read, full of comedy, full of friendship. It's got your ghostly elements and the undead. What more do you want from a story? This is such a fun read. It is the first in a trilogy. So if you do like this, then I would recommend picking up The Flesh King, which is the second book. Again, it does dabble a little bit deeper into the crime side of the story, so you'll probably enjoy both of those. And the third hasn't come out yet, so I cannot recommend that one just yet. But I do highly recommend The Pale House Devil. The next recommendation is Senseless by Ronald Malfi. This is another thriller story, but I do think it has horror elements, so I can include it into this this video. But essentially there is a woman who turns up dead. She is found mutilated at the edge of the desert, and basically we're following this detective who is trying to solve the case, figure out who the girl is, what's happened, who's done it. So this is like majority a crime story, so I reckon all you crime lovers will definitely enjoy Senseless. The next recommendation is going to be A Bat Eater by Kylie Lee Baker. This is set during the COVID pandemic, where we're following two sisters who live in New York City, and they are faced with lots of racial abuse, and her sister is pushed into the subway and they scream "Bat Eater" while doing this, and it is a real look into the effects that COVID had on the Asian community, as well as her sister trying to solve cases. She becomes a crime scene cleaner after this situation, and she gets involved in the whole nitty-gritty of cleaning up crimes. So that's where my recommendation comes from. She centers herself in the world of the crime she centers herself into the world of like crime scene cleaning and takes it upon herself to try and solve what's happening in Chinatown because a lot of Asians are being killed. So you can see the connection here. This is also really gross. It's got some real gory elements, but it is such a great read and I highly recommend picking it up. My next recommendation is Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. Again, this isn't horror as such, but it's got horrific scenes and a horrific storyline. But it is a thriller nonetheless. But I do think it is a great read, especially for crime readers. It is such a hard-hitting story about revenge and acceptance, but it is such a great book and I highly recommend it. My next recommendation is Secret Lives of the Dead by Tim Leben. This is a mixture of crime and horror. The crime aspect is the burglary and killings and that sort of thing, but your horror side of the story is the supernatural entity that's been haunting generations, and both of these things kind of run at the same time. We're getting bits and pieces from both sides of the story at the same time throughout reading this. It's such a great read, but it does take a lot of mental power to really piece everything together, but it's worth it. If you're into crime stories, then you do like to have a puzzle and piece everything together, then Secret Lives of the Dead is definitely the book for you. And finally, the last book I'm going to recommend is a book I've just finished, and that is B-Movie Bloodbath by Isaac Nightingale. This is basically a book that has everything. It's got crime, it's got monsters, it's got werewolves, it's got vampires. There's a whole lot going on in this book. Essentially, our main character is accused of killing his girlfriend and then is sent to prison for the crime that he didn't commit. He was there on the night that it happened, but the girlfriend is killed by a vampiristic sort of thing, but they don't find him or his accomplice. Instead, our main character is sentenced for the killing, essentially, of his girlfriend. And the start of the story is our character Knight getting used to being in jail and making friends. The crime aspect obviously is due to the prison side and getting a look into being an inmate and that side of things. He is also then released and we're following him again on a road trip to get revenge and create this bloodbath. So that's all I'm going to tell you at this point, because a lot of it you do need to just read. It's really an interesting story, and I think for me anyway, I enjoyed the prison aspect a lot more in this story. But yeah, that is B-Movie Bloodbath. And that is all my crime recommendations at the moment, my crime stories. Do let me know in the comments if there's any thriller or horror books that have some crime elements that you would recommend. I would love to know. Let's build out our recommendations in the comments, and I will catch you in the next one. But until then, keep your pages turning and embrace the darkness. Bye!